Well, hello plant lovers. It is Matthew in Melbourne welcoming you to my orchid care channel. Now here I try to grow cold, cool, intermediate orchids here in Melbourne, Australia, largely outside, one or two inside, without any help from really knowing that much from any equipment, so no greenhouse or heating or humidifiers, really just me and them struggling along trying to find our way together in this crazy orchid world. So plant lovers of the world, if that sounds like your bag, hit subscribe. I post every week on a Friday, amateur ramblings, but it might help you in your orchid journey. And in the immortal words of that people's poet, Britney Spears, oops, I have done it again. Yes, plant lovers, this is a box, and in it are two orchids, hopefully. So today, plant lovers, we are going to open this box and I will justify for you why I bought them. And they're interesting, but let me give you the backstory. First of all, as you well know, I completed my inventory of orchids about 3 months ago. Came to the surprising conclusion I have a lot of orchids, ergo don't need any more. But I don't quite know how, but I'm on the mailing list of a grower from South Australia, the state next to mine in Victoria, and he grows cool, cold like me, so outside without heating. So those are always the type of growers that I'm attracted to because we share the same kind of conditions. Now, South Australia is a different state, and depending where you are over there, it's much, much hotter and drier in summer and can be, depending where you are, again, really quite cold in winter. Much more of a classic Mediterranean climate. But nonetheless, not that dissimilar in terms of winter nighttime minimums. So generally, things from that neck of the woods can do very well for me if they're grown in similar conditions. So I'm always a little intrigued. Anyway, as I said, don't know how I'm on this email list, and it's pretty homespun and old school because this person CCs everyone, so I know exactly how many people are on the mailing list. Not that many. Anyway, he sells mature flowering size divisions, which is always intriguing, mostly Australian dendrobiums with a few other things. And I, to be honest, very rarely actually open the attachment because, again, pretty homespun and there's usually no body to the email and I'm always convinced it's a virus, so I never open it. Anyway, this time I did, plant lovers, and I'm glad I did because there was a great list with pictures of all the flowers from the plants. And most of them, I say 85% were Australian dendrobiums, but a couple weren't. And I was just, idly scrolling through and I thought, those two take my fancy. And so here we are. The box has arrived and it's very large for two plants. So these might well be quite large plants, which is great. One is an Australian Dendrobium hybrid and the other is not an Australian Dendrobium. It's a South American orchid. So plant lovers, shall we? And so, yes, one reason that I bought these orchids, plant lovers, is that they come from a grower who grows exactly like me. So these plants are flowering size divisions. So the mother plants of these will already be basically used to conditions that aren't dissimilar to mine. So let's see. Firstly, can I just say, very well boxed, which is always refreshing, isn't it? Let's see. Right. There we are. Okay. Ta-da, ta-da. Let's have a look. Ooh, very nicely packed. Look at that. So, well, anyway, let me have a look. Oh, there we go. Now, obviously, firstly, it's midwinter. Now, there is an issue of acclimatization, particularly in southern Australia. So, as you might know, through my videos, Melbourne does have quite cold winters. So the winter nighttime minimums can be quite cold. Daytimes can be beautiful. Today it's midwinter and it's a sunny day. It's about 15 degrees centigrade. Don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's chilly, but not cold. So our winter days can be quite beautiful, but the nights can be chilly. So you've really got to protect your orchids from being cold and wet on those sorts of conditions. So if in bleakest midwinter, or in fact in the height of summer when it's hot, you're ordering things, particularly from different states, or if they're in the mail for a long time, they can be subject to a lot of change of temperature and general ambient conditions. So a lot of orchid growers are from the subtropical and tropical north in Queensland. And although those plants can grow here, they have been grown in a much different climate. So you really do have to acclimatize. So ordering something in winter for me always makes me think, what is the plant? how am I going to make sure that it transitions into my climate well? But luckily, these two are A, cool climate orchids, and B, come from a climate that's not dissimilar to mine right now. So the only kind of risk factor is that they've been in the mail, and I think these have been in the mail for a week. So let's see. All right. First plant off the rank is this one. Look at that. Wow. Ooh, feels light. So the other thing is, if you're shipping a potted orchid, which this one is, you kind of don't want to water it because it's going to be very wet. Oh, now what is this one? This one is, firstly, there's the plant, quite a lovely size, and there is actually a sheath in there. Can you see? Hang on. There you go, in there. And this is what was known as an encyclia, and I just dropped the tag, Encyclia brassavolae poly. Encyclia brassavolia meaning it's an encyclia that looks like a brassavola, but it's not now called this. The name has changed. So this is now Prosthechea brassavolae. So the flower looks like a brassavola. Q has decided all the other names are synonyms, and that's what it is now, Prosthechea, which comes from the Greek meaning appendage, as in the root of the word prosthetics. So there's a little bit at the back of the column of the flower, apparently. I must say, those sorts of botanic names are a little dry. Now, this plant lovers, let us just unbag it. So firstly, it is, oh dear me, so most of the medium has in fact fallen out. There we go. And it is in medium bark with, I must say, a lot of polystyrene, which I understand why people use it, but it is certainly not the medium of choice for me. Petrochemical, single use, and this will be around for forever. But what I can see from this plant is a whole new growth emerging here, which will be producing new roots. Now, the issue with this is it is midwinter, not a great time to repot. So what I am actually tempted to do, plant lovers, which I will do, is I'm just going to top this up with large bark. I'm not going to repot it. I'm going to give it a really good watering with a seaweed-based solution. And the product here in Australia is called Sea Sol, S-E-A-S-O-L, not sea salt, as people think I'm saying. There's no T in this. It's a seaweed-based tonic, and it's a really great thing to use for plants that have just been shipped to you, no matter what they are, whether they're perennials, roses, cacti, or orchids. So I'm going to give it a good watering, and I am just, because it's actually, it feels quite firm in that pot, so I don't want to go, even though most of the medium's fallen out, I don't want to repot it. But what I will do in spring, when this growth has started to produce some roots, I will pot it on into a more attractive pot. So quite a largish plant, as you can see already. I mean, not that big, but you know, relatively large. And it's going to be quite vigorous, and you can see perhaps that it's one of those very rhizomy plants, so it's going to need some space. So yeah, I'm just loath to repot things fully at this time of year. So I'm actually going to leave the polystyrene in, top it up, water it, and hope for the best. And then when the weather improves, I will unearth it, sieve out all the polystyrene. The bark actually looks new and fresh. That's in very good condition. And there we go. So this is a cool climate species from Central America. So it's high altitude, perfect for me. Not necessarily a cloud forest orchid, but certainly a high altitude cooler grower. So it can take my winter nighttime minimums, which is what this grower who sent me these is growing them like. So it should thrive. Now, the other thing is when you ship something and it's midwinter and it might be bare rooted, or in this case, it's been really disturbed, there is a case for not putting it out in fairly harsh conditions. So I am going to put this somewhere relatively protected where it's not going to get that cold. But there we go. Anyway, so that's the first cab off our rank. Where's the tag? Oh, the tag's in there. So Prosthechea brassavolae, and a form called poly. And when it flowers, there is There is a sheath there. Who knows? The shipping may have disturbed it, but if it flowers, I'll show you. The flowers are amazing. Now, you'll have to Google it. I don't own the copyright of an image of it yet because mine hasn't flowered. So that's your homework, plant lovers. And so I ordered that one because I don't have anything like it. And it is a cool grower and it's a very big, dramatic brassavola-like flower, which I also don't have. All right, are you ready for number 2? Let's unearth this. Oh, there's a letter. What does this say? Or was it just an invoice? Oh, it's just an invoice, I think. Mr. Lucas. Always nice to have proof of just how much you spent. All right, let's unearth this one. Oh la la. Look at the size of this. My goodness. Oh, and there's a spike in that. So this is the Australian Dendrobium. Let me unearth it for you. Medium everywhere. Now, look at that plant. Look at the size of that. Not looking that fresh and happy, but who wouldn't, being in a box for a week from South Australia in midwinter. Now, this, plant lovers, is a hybrid called Dendrobium Pure Destiny Angelic. Can you read that? Anyway, that's what it says. And it's a hybrid between 2 Australian species orchids, Dendrobium gracillimum and Dendrobium speciosum. So speciosum, I think we know. I'll drop in the picture of mine. Very vigorous racemes of flowers, really strong, large flowers, and they can come in a variety of colors, but generally from basically white through sort of lemon and cream to the brightest gold, the most amazing orchid. Mine's stunning. So this is a cross between that and gracillimum, which has quite round, quite open green, lime greeny flowers. So a very different shape to the Dendrobium speciosum flower. And the cross between the two of them has the roundness and the greenness of gracillimum and the floriferousness of speciosum. And I have a lot of Australian Dendrobium hybrids. Oh, there's a spider as well. Any of you arachnophobes, fear not. It's a tiny little spider. It's not one of those big Australian spiders. I have a lot of Australian Dendrobiums, but I don't have anything that's green. I mean, not that I really need it, but it was really the color and the form of the flower that made me think, oh, you know what? I can't live without that. And it has got 1 flower spike, as you can see there on the end. So this is quite a ways away from flowering. And again, it's in largish bark with lots of polystyrene. And again, as we're in midwinter and this is coming into flower, I am just going to stabilize this plant. It's already got a couple of stakes. I'm going to top it up with some orchid mix and water it with sea salt diluted in water, so the seaweed-based tonic, and just allow it to settle in. And I will put this with my other Australian Dendrobium, so it's going to get bright indirect light and moderate amounts of water during this period. I don't want to overwater it because it won't be in tremendous active growth at this point, and it is quite cold and wet. So we'll just water it to start with and then keep it on the slightly dry side for winter and then amp it up again when the season changes. So it's looking a little disheveled from its time in the box and the canes are looking quite dehydrated, but there's a new cane here, which actually looks really fresh and healthy. So there we go. With Aussie Dendrobium, the name of the game is to produce new canes. So you can see these ones have lost their leaves, which is fine. The older canes will. But if a cane still has leaves, it's capable of flowering. So bear that in mind. Even though the cane might look a little desiccated and old and the leaves might look a little scabby, it can still bloom. These will more than likely not bloom, and these are actually getting ready to senesce, as they say in the trade, or die. So there we go. Dendrobium Pure Destiny Angelic. Interesting. Such an odd name, isn't it? Anyway, so that is the plant that I decided I could not live without, plant lovers. You can see actually it's got a lot of speciosum characteristics. The canes aren't quite as thick as speciosum, but it's certainly got that form and strength. Interesting to see, and I will pot this in a fairly large-ish terracotta pot, so it's not going to overbalance. But I won't be doing that until spring what we hope to do is to get that flower to open so I can do a little follow-up for you and show you why I felt I couldn't live without this. So there you are, plant lovers, 2 new orchids to go on the inventory, one very different that I have nothing really like, and one Aussie Dendrobium, but I actually have nothing like it, which is why I chose to buy it, because the flower form and color is quite different to anything else I have. Anyway, that's my excuse. Also, you know what? I had a heart attack 2 months ago. I've decided I can buy whatever I want, within reason, because of course space is an issue. Anyway, plant lovers, I hope all's well where you are, and if you're in the mood, you've been buying orchids. I'm always curious to know what people are getting, and recommendations people make about things that I should look for. Always fascinating. And aren't these delicious? They certainly need watering. They certainly need daylight and fresh air, which I'll give you. Anyway, plant lovers, we all need fresh air and daylight. So I hope wherever you are, all's well, and that your orchids are doing what they should. That if you've been buying things, you haven't been going too crazy. But if you have, why not? There are worse things to do in the world. Anyway, take care. Join me next week. I post every week on a Friday. Hit subscribe if you want to know what our adventure might be. And I look forward to seeing you next week.